have an example of this styling. The first one is the inline CSS. Now, in this particular case, I've already written the code for you. I just want you to do some kind of styling. In this particular case, you are saying that we have got the body. Inside the body, we have got H1. And then the question is, style me in blue. That is the question. Now, it requires you to have that knowledge of inline CSS or inline CSS, so that in this particular case, how can you be able to turn the heading 1 into blue using the inline CSS? Now, as we said, I'm going to do this for you guys. And then, as we said, is that every time you have got inline CSS, you need to put that code inside the opening tag of that element. Now, in this particular case, you start with the keyword style. The moment you double click on this, it is going to open, it's going to have the equal sign and then the double quotation marks put for you. And then inside there, you can be able to put now background color. Already I've started typing background color, and you can see background color is here. And then the background color they have told us is blue. So I'm just going to click on blue. And the moment I do that, and then I try to run this code, go live. Let me just go live. Okay. So let me go live. Now, when I show the preview, when I click here and then I show preview, you realize that now my background for this particular paragraph or this particular heading 1 is turned to blue. So that is how you go about it in the first quiz. The second quiz is that we want to test ourselves if you have understood internal CSS. Now, when you click to internal CSS, they're saying that style me in red. So that's the question. Style me in red. So in this particular case, you have agreed that every time you have the internal CSS, you're supposed to write inside the head tags. So in this particular case, I'm going to start with the word style. And then I'm supposed now to have the selector. Now, the selector in this case is H1. So that is my selector. I double click on that. And then inside there, I'm supposed to style this red. So I'm going to write there background color is red. Like that. So by doing this, when I run the preview, or show preview, you realize now that that particular text has turned to be red in color, or background has turned to be red in color. Now the next type is that we have got external CSS. Now with the external CSS, they are saying that style me in green. But in this particular case, they're asking us to create an external CSS. Now in this particular case, I've already created that file down here. So I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to write now that particular code inside here. So what is our main part in this particular case? Maybe I can start with that. The question is asking us to style me in green. So what are we styling? The element here is H1. So we are going to target H1. So when I click on CSS and then I write there H1 like that, and then I write there the background to be the background color. So they're saying the background color is supposed to be green. So when I do this and then I need to add the link. So we need to link up the CSS with the external CSS with the HTML. So in this particular case, we're going to write here link, then rel for relationship, and then we have that, and then we write there style sheet, and then we have that href, equal sign, and then we need to have the dot, then the slash, and then now we need to specify the styling. So the styling here is style, because the word here is style, so we are going to put there the style like that, and then you have that, and then you close that particular part like that, and then you try to run this, try to do the review. You realize that it has been painted, the background has been painted to be green in color. Now the second quiz is trying to test just on the aspect of CSS selectors that you have just been able to look at. Now in this particular case, we are saying that the first task that you are supposed to accomplish is that set the CSS for all paragraph tags to color red. Now in this particular case, you look at the paragraph tags. So you look at this particular program here and then say that we need the paragraph tags to be red in color. Now, where is the paragraph tag? This is the paragraph tag. So we have the paragraph tag here. But the paragraph tag that you are going to look at is class. You look here is class. So when you see class, it tells you something that in this particular case, I'm going to apply with a dot, followed by the class name. So what is the class name in this case? The class name is not. So that's how you debug it. The first task is that set the CSS for all paragraph tags to color red. Now, in this particular case, you have already been told that it is a class, and therefore you need to use a dot, then followed by the class name. So I'm going to open my CSS file. So as you can see in the CSS, there is the initial code whereby we have the OL. OL stands for ordered list. So we have got predefined features I've already set up for you. We have got margin left, which is -440 pixels. We have got margin top, which is -20 pixels. And then we have the list style position to be inside. So this is where we want to write that code. The first to do the first task we said that is to set the CSS for all paragraph tags to color red, and therefore you can see here we have the class not. So when you go here, it's going to start with the dot, and then you write that not. Dot not, and then you add those curly brackets, and then after doing that, you go back to check. Here we are saying that the color is supposed to be red, so you're supposed to specify that color red. That. Okay, then we move to the next one. We go move to the second task. The second task is that here they're saying that set the CSS for all paragraph or all elements with a class of not to font size 20. So you can see here, this is an additional property whereby they are bringing on board the font size to 20 pixels. Remember, we had already created that class up here, so we are just going to update it. So we go back there, and then we just update it by saying font size. Font size is 20 pixels. Like that. Then after doing that, you move to the next task. So they're saying that to do number 3 is that set the CSS for the elements with an ID selector demo to color green. So in this particular case, this is one of that element. Here you can see this particular LI, the list, is having the class not plus. It's also having the ID of ID selector demo. So we are supposed to set this to color green. So we go up again to this particular point. And remember, when you are dealing with the ID selector, we said that you start with the hashtag. Then you go to, they're saying that ID selector, demo. Like that. And then you put those those curly brackets, and then inside here they're saying that color is supposed to be green. The color is supposed to be, they are saying the color is supposed to be green. Color green. Like that. So that is it about that to do. And then you go to the next one. The next task, they're saying that set the CSS for the LI, the list element, to have the value attribute set to 4 to have the color blue. So you can see in this particular case, we're being tested on the attribute selector, because they are being specific. They're saying that the attribute, it's supposed to be set to 4. And which attribute? The LI element attribute number 4. Now, when you come here, we are supposed to use that particular tag. And then in this particular case, we are going to use, so we are going to start with that element LI. So we're going to start with that element LI, and then the square bracket. And then inside the square bracket, you're supposed to enter the value that you have been told, or the attribute that you have been told. Now, in this particular case, they are saying that the value is equal to 4. So this is the attribute that you're supposed to put into that, into those square brackets. So inside here, we're going to put here value equal 4. Value equal 4. And then you put the curly bracket, and then that. Then they're saying that you're supposed to save this to blue. So you're going to say color blue, like that. And then you move to the next or the last task for us to do today is that we're going to use set all elements to have text alignment center. All elements to have text alignment center. All. Now remember, we talked about the universal selector. The universal selector, and we said when you talk about the universal selector, you're supposed to start with an asterisk. So an asterisk, and then opening the curly bracket, and then inside those curly bracket, write there color. Color is supposed to be red. Like that. Color is supposed to be red, and then you put that in front. So when I run the preview of this program, when I run the preview of this particular program, I should be able to get those I should be able to see those output in this particular side, like that. So you can see it has been painted according to the way it is supposed to be. It has been labeled at the top there. So that is how you're supposed to come up with this. You are supposed to execute those assignments or those activities that are been labeled in this particular case. You can be able to give it a trial. Here we have the program and everything that you need to know about this particular program, and see all the files that I've been talking about, and also I'm going to put in the description section so that you can go to give it a try. Here is the program, the CSS file that you are supposed to create, and then when you run the preview, you are supposed to come up with such kind of an output whereby all the content has been well aligned. Thank you so much. You can support me by clicking on the subscribe button, or also you can click on notification button so that when I go live next, you'll be informed. Thank you so much. Bye bye.